Oh girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited. And when you're touching me, oh it feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with the hypnotic. Come on, let's get this party started. So excited, and when you're touching me, oh it feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with the hypnotic.
What up, dog? It's that player Dozy, you know what I'm saying? You know it's me, because I got that shit written on my hat, custom made. Straight up, check it. I'ma show you bitches how to get some vocoder vocals. Some vocoder vocals? You ain't even gotta know how to play a fucking keyboard, homie. See this motherfucking keyboard? You ain't gotta be knowing none of that music theory and all this shit. Fuck that. I'ma show you bitches, and you know I know my shit. You know how you know I know my shit, and I know my shit? Well, check it out. You see this motherfucking gorilla on my chest? Yeah, motherfucker, represent. You see those motherfucking nerd glasses? That means we fucking smart up in this bitch. You see a motherfucking dollar sign? You know we falling out of control, homie. Got that motherfucking platinum chain on my shit? Dude, that's not a gorilla. It's a fucking chimpanzee. Are you fucking serious right now? Alright, man, you got me, man. Ain't no motherfucking gorilla. It's the chimp. We the motherfucking chimp crew. You know what? Fuck a motherfucking chip on the shoulder. We got these motherfucking chips on our chest, bitch. Man, you ain't kind of funny right now. Are you okay? Are you on that shit again, homie? Yeah, it's because I'm on that motherfucking rehab, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, check it. You know what I'm saying? Right here. I'm on that motherfucking monster rehab. I drank like 8 of these bitches, you know what I'm saying? Check it. You know why? Because y'all lazy motherfuckers sitting around. I'm out here fucking drinking 10 monsters a day, running around like a wild motherfucker off the chain. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? This is supposed to be about some vocoded vocals. You're supposed to be showing these people how to get some vocoded vocal sounds. What the fuck are you doing right now? The fuck are you talking about, dude? Alright, yeah, it's about the motherfucking vocoded vocals. I know. I'm supposed to do a tutorial showing these motherfuckers how to get vocoded vocals. I was gonna do that shit until you came up in this motherfucker and blindsided me talking shit. You know I'm on that fucking triple M mode, motherfucker. You know, I'm kind of confused right now. Are you supposed to be like some kind of super gangster? Am I supposed to be like afraid of you or something? What's the deal with that? Oh, motherfucker, I'm as gangster as they come. $10 watch? You ain't even fucking know it? Shit. Oh, shit. Yeah, just pull the thong out my ass. You ain't even know it, well, you just saw me do it. Fuck. You didn't see that shit. Anyway, motherfucker, what's that you claim, bitch? Oh, you wanna see a motherfucking gangster? Let me show you what I fucking claim, motherfucker. That's right, them motherfucking Benjamins, that's what I'm about. While y'all motherfuckers sitting over there on y'all fucking computers and shit, typing up them motherfucking hater comments, I'm out here getting these motherfucking Benjamins, baby. Put that shit on my shoulder, cause you know I'm a motherfucking badass. You wearing a thong? No fucking way. Are you fucking serious? What are the fucking chances that me and you would both be wearing fucking thongs right now? 1 in a million. Astronomical. Yeah, man, I got a motherfucking thong on. Look, I gotta sit down so I school you motherfuckers. Look, y'all know why I got a motherfucking thong on? Cause I'm on that MMM, triple M, baby. You don't know what triple M is? I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking to y'all motherfuckers right now. I'm on that Magic Mike mode, bitch. You don't know nothing about that shit? I get it. Y'all motherfuckers are acting like y'all ain't never seen Magic Mike and shit. Motherfuckers, cause y'all got them complexes. Y'all got them little wee little ball complexes. Your woman's like, yo, I want to see that Magic Mike. And you're like, I don't want to watch that shit. I ain't gonna see these motherfuckers running around in some motherfucking thongs and fucking balls all big as shit, big old bulges. You know why, motherfucker? Cause y'all some little dick motherfuckers. Alright, get over that shit. Anyway, I'm on that Magic Mike mode, you know what I'm saying? Alright, man, look, I'm gonna do the fucking tutorial because you are fucking out your fucking mind right now, so just go ahead and leave. You can do the next tutorial possibly when you calm the fuck down, but right now I'm gonna do it, so just fucking bail out, dude. You know what, man? It's fucking cool, because I ain't want to do these motherfucking tutorials for y'all bitches anyway, crying and shit. Y'all want this goofy motherfucker to do it? You know who the fuck you dealing with, man? You know what fucking time it is? Man, it's time for the chimp crew to roll out and got some shit to do on the streets, man. $10 motherfucking necklace? You ain't even fucking know it, bitch. I'm out this motherfucker. Peace. How's it going, everybody? Sorry about all that freaking madness, all right? Look, I'm going to show you how to use 2 different types of vocoders, all right? Now, there's many vocoders out here, but the 2 I'm going to show you have 2 different types of routing schemes. The orange vocoder has a more complex routing, while the Voco by Klang Labs has a more simple type of routing. And we're going to go over all the routing, show you how to use them, and all that good stuff. Now remember, the most important part about this also is that you do not have to use a keyboard to program your MIDI. Now I know you guys saw the FM8 with the keyboard moving, but I didn't have to program those keys. So I'm going to remove the Klang Labs Voco right now. It's the vocoder that's on the left because it's a more simple routing. We're going to talk about the typical type of routing for an orange vocoder so you can understand how a vocoder works. Now, before you start using a vocoder, it's very important that you understand what a vocoder is and how it works. However, I'm going to spare you all the technical nerdaholic details, and I'm going to break it down really simple. So sometimes in order to explain something, you got to explain it in a non-technical manner so people can grasp the concept. So real simple when dealing with vocals, a vocoder makes your vocal sound like an instrument that is talking. So how does it do its magic? As I said, I'm going to spare you the nerdy details. Here we go. What it does is it takes the sound of an instrument and the sound of your voice, mixes them all together, does its little voodoo, and boom, there you go. You got a vocoded sound. So there's some things you need to know first though. One signal, which is the instrument signal, is what is called the carrier. I'm going to bring up the carrier sound inside of this plugin. That is the sound of the instrument. The other sound is your voice, which is called the modulator. So your voice is the modulator, and the instrument is the carrier. It mixes these two signals together and creates your vocoded sound. Now, there are many vocoders out there, and some use a more complex routing scheme, and the orange vocoder would be somewhat complex for some people. So I'm going to go over that one first, and we're going to talk about how you route it, what it's doing, how it works. Just pretend for a second that this freaking orange vocoder is like, yo, man, I'm just sitting here chilling, and it's listening. It's waiting for something to come into it so it can do its vocode and stuff. You know, it's like a little robot just sitting there chilling, waiting. You know what I mean? So as the vocoder's sitting there waiting, he's like, yo, I'm waiting. Well, on the left side, he's listening for one thing, and on the right side, he's listening for the other. And this is all you do. We need to route the carrier, which is the instrument, to the left side of the plugin, and we need to route the modulator, or in this case, the speech, as it's called on here, the modulator, which is your voice, we need to route that to the right side of the plugin. And how do you do that? Now, in the case of the orange vocoder, it does have an input flip switch, which allows us to change the routing. Instead of routing the carrier to the left, you could say, you know what, I'm going to input flip this damn thing, and we're going to send the carrier signal to the right instead. Now, before we get to the routing, let's just look at this plugin because some of you guys are like, holy hell, look at all them damn knobs. What the hell does this thing do? First off, the mixer. The mixer is basically, you got your carrier, which is the sound of the instrument, and then the speech, which is basically your modulator, and that is your voice. This is the amount of effect that you're going to be sending into the plugin. This is a graphic equalizer. It basically equalizes the frequencies so that you can adjust the sound and the tonality that you're looking for. However, you can use an external equalizer. This is the reverb section. I'm not going to use it. You're free to experiment with it. I use a separate reverb, usually a Lexicon vintage plate or something like that for vocals. The FB release is basically a filter bank release, and it has to do with the release characteristics of the whole entire thing. And I'm not going to go into detail about the control, but just know you can input, flip, switch this damn thing. I can't even say that right. Switch the input so you can change the left and the right. And then you have a use synth if you want to use the internal synth. And we're going to show you all the different sounds because I got to show you the type of sounds that you're going to want to be looking for when you want to use as a carrier. And you can copy the plugin settings in here, and you can copy them into another one by using this area here. And then you can, do some presets. And finally, this whole section down here is basically the internal synthesizer that you can use. However, I do not use it. I use an external sound, but I'm going to use it right now to show you the type of sounds that you need to be looking for. So I'm going to flip on this use synth. I got a key down here pressed, and if I don't press a key and I bring the volume up, nothing happens. The internal carrier sound, if I press a key, it maintains the depression. If I bring it up,
you can hear the sound. And what I'm going to show you right now is a type of sounds that you want to look for when you're looking for a sound that's going to drive your vocoder. So I'm going to play the different sounds here, and then I'm going to tell you what they have in common. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm just going to cycle through them. All right, now, this is what they all have in common. These sounds and the ones that you're typically going to want to use all have a sine wave or sawtooth type character. You can use any sound you want. Also, you can also create sound fonts of your own sound. So this one here is something like a sound font that you could create out of your own voice. Some of them, vocoders that is, do accept sound fonts. The Klang Labs vocoder does. You can create your own sound fonts. You need a sound font editor. I'm not going to get into that. And you can create your own sounds using other types of carrier sounds. Now let's get into the routing. I need to route some sounds to this thing so we can get this thing going. First off, I'm not going to use the internal synth. I'm going to bring down the carrier sound. I'm going to bring up the filter all the way up because I want all the sound going right inside this vocoder. So let's move on to the routing. Now, here's a vocal track, the PHC track. I want to vocode this track. I want these vocals to have a vocoded sound. Now, if you do not use Presonus Studio One, don't worry. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same, the routing. So right now, this is going out to my main, basically where all the sound when you create a track goes. All right? And what we want to do is we want to route the sound from this track into the vocoder. Second, we have an instrument track. You got to create an instrument track. The reason for the instrument track is because this is where your instrument is going to go. And on this instrument track, we are going to have our MIDI notes. Whoa, wait a fucking second, Dozer. What you mean MIDI notes? Where the fuck are we going to get MIDI notes from if we're not using keyboards? Simple. I'm going to show you that. But before I show you, just know that you need to have a vocal track and an instrument track that we can put some MIDI on, and we can also put an instrument on. What we need to do is we need to send both of these tracks, both of them, to a bus. I'm not going to go over how to create buses and all that kind of stuff. If you guys don't know what a bus is, you need to go watch my free Tracks, Buses, and Sends video on my YouTube channel. So we need to send these to a bus. I've already got the bus created, which is over here. It's called the vocoded bus. On that bus, after you route both channels to, or tracks, to that bus. So let me do that now. This one's already going to that bus, as you can see, vocoded. That is the bus name. I renamed it to vocoded. This one's going out to the main channel strip. I'm going to send this one to vocoded. Let's go check it out. Here's that vocoded bus. Both of those tracks are going to this bus. They are routed there right now. Do not forget, guys, this is the way Orange Vocoder handles it, okay? It's not the same for all plugins. Now, you need to put the Orange Vocoder, or other plugins that work just like it, on the vocoded bus, or whatever you want to name it, robotic, whatever. So here's the vocoder. Just know that I am following it up with a compressor and a limiter because it does tend to get out of hand. So we have both vocal tracks going to this bus. Let's go check them out. Here they are, and as you can see, they are going to the vocoded bus. Well, the vocoder's over here chilling saying, you know what, I'm just waiting. You need to send something to my left and something to my right. In the instance with this plugin, your vocals need to be panned to the right. Your instrument channel, or your instrument track, which is where the instrument is going to be, which is also routed out to the vocoded bus, which has the vocoder on it, is going to be panned to the left. All the way, guys. Hard right, hard left. If you guys don't feel like doing it that way, if you want to go the opposite direction, just open the vocoder and use the input flip switch. So we got everything routed here. Everything's panned to the left and the right where it needs to be. I'm going to turn the orange vocoder on. I'm going to open my instrument. I'm going to select the sound. You want to find a good sound. I already know what sound I'm going to use. And the one that I selected is in the FM7 factory. And it's basically called Poly Lead. It's way down here. Let's see if we can find it. Come on, Poly Lead. Poly Lead. That's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to play it right quick.
Girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited.
Okay, so I press play on my space bar, and then it started to play the track, and basically you can see my performance meter down here going freaking nuts because Orange Vocoder is a freaking hog. I got a quad core and it's just totally eating it up. So that's one reason I don't like this vocoder. Also, I'm using it J-bridged, so that could also be the issue too. However, so we have the sound that we want. However, there's one thing you need to make sure you do, and that is you go into your effects section and turn off your effects so that you don't have any effects going on, unless if that's what you're after. So now when I have the orange vocoder on and I'm on the instrument and I press on the keys and the song is playing, when I press on a key, it's basically gonna create the vocoded sound for the vocal. And now for the beautiful part. You guys are like, you know what? I don't want to play the keyboard. I don't want to sit there on the keyboard and try and figure out which key is what for what word. I don't really know. So this is what you're going to do. First off, you need to make sure you have the newest version of Melodyne, all right? And this is native to Studio One, the way they handle it, which is why Studio One is a freaking beast. I love it, is because I can right-click on here, and it has the function of editing with Melodyne. All we're going to do is we're going to track the pitches. If you bring up Melodyne, this is not a Melodyne tutorial, but if you do bring it up and it looks something like this, it's because it detected your pitches with the wrong algorithm. You need to ensure it's in melodic, which is what your vocal is. Now, we don't really need to mess with the pitches here because my vocal has a top secret combination going on with the effects, this lower left corner, and basically it's already been rendered over here. Another reason why I love Studio One, because it can render effects. I can come back 20 years later after a motherfucking apocalypse, madder than a motherfucker, because people have been trying to steal my shit. I come back 20 years later after the apocalypse, bald as a motherfucker, more bald than I am right now because of Fallout, and I'm going to click on this restore button, and basically I can restore what I did. Anyway, besides all that, let's move on. So, I love Studio One, as I already said. I got the Melodyne on there. Let's do this. So, let's bring up Melodyne, double click here. Here's my notes. I do not have to correct them. Now, if you need to correct them, you need to learn how to use this. I'm not going to use it because they're already corrected. This is not a Melodyne tutorial. So, I got my notes. What I'm going to do is all you have to do in Studio One is I just drag down here and blam! Look at that. MIDI notes have been flown down. I can actually come up here, remove Melodyne. However, if you need to do some editing, do not remove Melodyne. And here we go. We have the notes from the vocals. What Melodyne has done is detected the notes for each word. Mine are already pre-corrected because of the effects that's on the event. All right. And what it has done is detected the notes. I took those notes and I dragged them down to another track. Now, I just realized that I'm talking like this and I sound like a frickin' dumbass. So I'm just going to talk like this, guys. All right? I don't know what the hell is going on. Maybe the other guy came back in the studio for a while, was acting stupid. Let's just be normal here. Now, if you're sitting there scratching your head and you're like, man, how the hell am I going to get MIDI notes? Well, first off, you got to have the Melodyne plugin. You know what I'm saying? Second off, if you have Sonar, guess what? I know Sonar has it built in, where it uses and it detects the MIDI notes and you can bring them down or something like that. I'm not using Sonar, but I do remember having a functionality like that, okay? So, whatever you can do, you got to get your MIDI notes. Now, you may have to use the Melodyne offline version, and you might have to detect the pitches, you know, mix down your vocal to a .wav file, make sure you use 32-bit float, bring it into, you know, Melodyne offline version, you know, and then you basically track the pitches, correct them, export a MIDI file from Melodyne, and then you can import that Melodyne file into the track and just line it up the best you can. Make sure that you have snap enabled and that you're also, you know, you have your tempo set to your track. So now here's what's going to happen. This vocoded instrument, or basically my instrument track, which is panned to the left 100%, and my vocals, which are panned to the right 100%, are now going to that vocoder. However, I have on this instrument track what is working the instrument. Remember, there's an instrument on here. These MIDI notes, I'm going to double click them, are real MIDI notes. All right. They also have velocity maintaining on them. You know, it's freaking voodoo what Melodyne does and the way it's handled inside this program. And so there we are. We got that. So this is what's going to be controlling the actual instrument, which is my FM8, the one that you saw a second ago. So I'm not having to use the keyboard. It's the actual MIDI notes that I just got from my vocal using Melodyne that is going to basically push the keys on the keyboard. We're going to look at that right now. So I'm going to go make sure that my vocoder is turned on. If you look over here in the lower left corner, this is my performance meter. And what's going to happen is it's going to go super high when I enable this. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, whatever. My computer can handle it. It's a big boy. So we got the orange vocoder going. I'm going to open the instrument. We're going to verify that these notes are actually playing on the keyboard.
Oh girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited. And when you're touching me, oh it feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with that hypnotic.
Okay, so it is activating the keyboard. By the way, these are my vocals from one of my older tracks. The lyrics are freaking typical. The whole song is typical. I just wanted something to throw together for all kinds of different tutorials I'm going to be doing. So we have just verified that there I go, talking like that again. So we just verified that the vocals, I have split personalities maybe, I don't know, ADHD, all those different deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq have really, and you know, all the IEDs and shit going off on the side of the road, racked my brain, who knows. Anyway, so we got this shit going, right? So we just verified that it's working. Now let's talk about some other routing that I personally have going on. What I got going on is I got this vocoded one, which has basically the vocoder and where all the vocals and the instrument sounds are going to the vocoder. You'll find that it does kind of get out of hand. I'll play it.
Oh girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited. And when you're touching me, oh it feels so...
If you notice, the meter's jumping really high. If you find that you're clipping because it's just going really loud sometimes, you need to basically follow it up with a compressor and a limiter. I'm compressing super hard with a 20:1 ratio, basically the settings you see here, and then I'm following up with a limiter to bring it up just a little bit more. I typically would not do this. This is just for the tutorial with the limiter, that is. I could just use a compressor that has a high ratio. So just for the tutorial, I'm going to use this.
Oh girl, you know I like it.
Also, you might want to go and edit your velocities. So what I could do is I can just select all. You don't have to do this. You can leave velocities what they are. I'm just going to go here, musical functions, go to velocity, crank it all the way up to 100, click OK. All my velocities, basically the sensitivity for each note is 100%. Not something you have to do. I'm just doing it in this instance. So here we go. We got the orange vocoder. We got everything turned on. And here's where my routing's going. This vocoded bus, I actually got to go into this bus because that's where I was originally sending these vocals. And I want to process these vocals that are coming from the vocoder with my own EQ, my own other plugin, my own other EQ. This plugin has compression and all kinds of other stuff in it. I basically want to process it myself. This isn't a mixing tutorial. That's not what this is about. You know how to route this thing now. The main routing scheme was if you are not sending it to another bus for external processing, such as EQ and all that kind of stuff. Because as I said, this bus is being going to this bus. See this right here? It's going out to my PHC bus. It's a bus going to a bus. And what's going on here is I want it to go to this bus because I want to handle all my reverb on this bus. Again, like I said, this isn't a routing for sends and tracks and all that kind of tutorial for buses, but just know that's where it's going, and this is where I'm handling my reverb and stuff. Listen.
Oh girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited.
All right, I even got a delay throw, side chained, and some other stuff on here, slap back on there. Okay, but I'm going to leave those off just for demonstration purposes. So let's move on. You guys know how to route it. That is how you route it. Like I said, recap. You got to pan to the left and the right. You got to send both those tracks, the instrument and the vocals, to a bus. Rename your bus vocoded for simplicity. Put the vocoder on there. The vocoder is listening for the left and the right signal. One's called the carrier. One's called the modulator. The carrier is the instrument. The modulator is your voice. Boom. That's how you do this type of vocoder. And now it's working. So let's move on to the other vocoder. So here's the Klang Labs Voco. And this is different from other vocoders because inside of it, man, that's where the sounds are. You could create your own sounds using a sound font editor, as I said before. However, this one comes with all kinds of sounds already built into it that you see here, all right? And I'm going to go over the parameters and tell you kind of like what they do. Not a full in-depth tutorial because you can read the manual. So since this plugin has its sounds in it, it's already doing all the mojo for you. You don't have to worry about carriers or nothing like that. It's got all the sounds that you'll ever want inside of it. However, like I said, you can create more. And it's directly on the vocal track. You need to insert it directly on the vocal track, as you see here. Now, here's the deal. You need to get rid of your panning scheme that you're using for the more complex orange vocoder. I removed the instrument. I no longer have the FM8 on there. I do not need it. And as you can see, there's no routing as far as, I should say, panning. You see how it's just, there's no panning. It's basically down the center. It's just an instrument track. It only has MIDI information on it right here. So you need to make sure your vocal or wherever you want to pan it, but let's just make it center because we don't need to mess with that panning crap. So here's how this vocoder works. It's sitting over here on the vocal track and it's like, hello, I am waiting for some notes to play me so I can modulate these vocals. Actually, probably doesn't sound like that because that sounds stupid. But he's sitting there waiting and he's like, yo, come on, man, I'm waiting. I got my sounds inside me already, sound fonts. I'm ready to go. You don't need to worry about that shit. And I'm on the track, so I'm going to modulate this vocal. You know, I'm going to do my magic. So it's ready. All you need to do is you need to route your MIDI information from your instrument track to the plugin because this plugin, like I said, is sitting there listening. Here we go. Let's route it. Output to the Voco. It's VocoFX.64 because I'm using JBridge. Now, there's one more thing you need to do, and that is, remember this vocal track was going out to the vocoded bus, so let me close this. Here it is. I need to send it to my original bus that I was originally sending it to, which was this PHC bus. So now we got that, and there's one more thing you need to do, and this thing is basically routed. All right, so recap, instrument that has MIDI, instrument track that has MIDI information, vocal track that has vocals with the plugin on it, route the output of this instrument track that has MIDI on it. I have to stress that. Route that instrument track to the actual vocoder that is sitting on the vocal track because it's like, yo, send me something, send me some notes so I can do my stuff. There we go. If I play this, it should play. Make sure you enable your plugin.
Oh girl, you know I like it. You've got me so excited. And when you touch...
Now, you guys are probably like, whoa, what the fuck? Because of the breath. You're going to want to edit your breaths out. I didn't originally use a vocoder when I did this track, so that's why the breaths are there. I wanted it to sound natural because it was a real vocal. Well, I wouldn't really call pitched vocals natural, but whatever. And that's why you're hearing that. You're hearing the breath, so pretend for a second the breath isn't there. You need to go and pre-edit your vocals to get rid of that kind of stuff because Melodyne will track it.
Oh girl, you know I like it. Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these classes with that hypnotic.
So we have verified that it's working. As I said, it's coming over here to the PHC bus.
Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these classes with that hypnotic. Come on, let's.
Okay, so the EQ, you need to EQ it the way that's going to sound the best for you. Watch what happens when I turn off my EQ and my compressor. Well, I'll leave this on.
Feels so erotic.
Way too much low frequency information. So I EQ'd it before I hit the compressor. I got rid of that low frequency stuff, and then I EQ'd it again.
Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these classes with that hypnotic.
All right, so we got that going. What else can we do? Well, Dozer, you didn't really explain the plugin because the plugin is what's really going to create the power of this plugin and why you love it so much. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let me bring up the Voco. Here she is. I'm going to just quick go over it. Nothing too in-depth. There is a little small manual, however, they're not real in-depth. Since it looks like, oh my god, look at all these knobs. Am I in a freaking cockpit? Are we on a fucking alien spaceship? Yes, when you deal with me, you probably are on an alien spaceship because I'm probably from another fucking planet, right? So here's how this thing works. I'm not going to get too in-depth. There is a little small manual, however, it doesn't go too in-depth, so you got to kind of be like a scientist like me to figure it out. But they know there's going to be a bunch of simple jacks. So most people, when they build the plugins, are like, yo, man, simple jack is going to fucking email us a million questions. How the hell do I do this? Why are there so many buttons? What the hell do I press? Which one is the one? Who's got the fucking codes to the motherfucking plugin? Someone has the codes. Where the fuck is the key? We both turn them in unison, and the motherfucker starts up. Who's got the other fucking key, right? Okay, well, check it out. I'm going to break it down for you. Over here is the OSC1, and you basically have a sound font and a synth, and you can mix between those. We'll go over that in just a second. And then you have OSC2, the oscillator, the second oscillator, and you can change it from sine to sol. And in order to mix between these two sine sounds, two sounds, the oscillators, you use this O1 and O2, which is basically mixing between the oscillator 1 and the sound that's in the oscillator 2, which is more of a sine sound, which we're going to hear in a second. And you can further, so you can mix between the oscillator 2 and oscillator 1, but then you can further mix the two internal sounds that are on oscillator 1. You can mix between the one that's on the, let's say this one over here, you want a drone sound, and this one over here, you want a my God, oh my God sound, right? I'm going to bring this back to my preset. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, so this is the one I like. And that's what this wet, or I should say mix knob does. You're mixing between these two sounds, and this is mixing both of the oscillators. So, okay, that's cool. What's this do? Well, just know that you need to have it on vocode. Okay, guys? The gain, put it all the way up to 11. This is your input also. Make sure that's all the way up. When it does do something, it turns this color right here, as you can see. And this sample stuff and this stuff, don't even worry about that. That's more advanced. You can read the manual. And then this LFO area, you can mess with the attack. You might not be able to hear the difference here. This stuff I'm not going to go over because I'm not even using these right now. However, the one that you need to concern yourself with is this high pass. You can turn into a band pass, basically like a bell filter, band reject, low pass filter, high pass filter. Okay, I got mine to high pass because I want to remove a lot of the low frequency. Now watch what happens. You see this first one, this cut? This is the actual, let's say, high pass filter, value, and I'm going to bring it down. Watch. Here it sounds more muddy. Then I'm going to bring it up, and you're going to hear it filter out all the frequencies. So this is like a 7,700 hertz high pass filter, cutting out a lot of the lower mud sound. If that's what you're going for, okay. When you press this link, it links both of them. Make sure you have this one on. I don't think you really need to have it on, but they're basically both their own thing for the left and the right. And I have them linked, so we're good to go. And this is the high pass filter.
Feel so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic.
Okay, the next one is a resonant filter. Not going to get into that. If you know what resonance is, awesome for you. If you don't, well, you need to do some research. The gain is basically, I have it all the way up to 11, okay? And you really want to link all these, okay? Well, maybe not the pan.
Feel so erotic.
Okay, don't worry about the pan. You don't have to link that one. I'm not going to link any of them because I don't really care right now, okay? But if you want to, you can link those, okay? And that's pretty much the setting I'm used. Here is the wet dry for the whole entire plugin. Watch this.
Feel so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses.
All right, now when the video first started, you heard me automating this. However, the plugin was out of view. I had it off to the right so you couldn't see it. But when this whole tutorial first started, if you go back to the beginning and listen, what I was doing is as the tutorial was recording the screen, I was dry and then I automated in the vocoded sound.
Feel so erotic, can't get enough of these.
And now you're seeing the power here. You can automate all kinds of crazy wacky shit in this plugin and, do what you got to do. So for the simple jacks, just a recap of this section, this is your filter section. Okay, it's filtering the effect, but guess what? You don't even really have to use it if you don't want to because you can use your external EQs to do that. That's what I'm doing also. You see my EQ that I got here and then my other EQ up here and then I got some compression stuff going on with the VX64, one of my favorite plugins of all time. Okay, so it's got some stuff going on with that, but you can also do some tailoring of the sound with this. Of course, you have your wet dry knob. This stuff, not going to go over that, what this does, okay? You can also flip this bad boy around. I don't even think it tells you in the manual what it does. Maybe it's doing some oversampling. I haven't really analyzed it. I can bring it into my analyzer and analyze this plugin like a super dork and tell you, what that does that I really don't feel like doing it. So we got that. Okay, simple jacks. We understand what this thing does. Okay, you don't? Well, okay, A and B. Oh my God, what's going on here? Simple. They're linked. Just worry about the A, okay? Just worry about screwing around with this A. Okay, so there we go. Over here, let's move on. So here in this area, we have OSC2. Let's check it out. Well, what does it do? Oh my God, someone call the cops. All right, so listen to this.
Feel so erotic.
I'm going to change the actual oscillator inside of here sound.
Feel so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic.
You guys are going to hate hearing someone say so erotic when this is done, okay? So this is what I'm doing. I got the mono off, and the sound that's in here, this sine wave sound. It's a little bit too boxy. You can EQ that out. However, watch this. I'm going to bring up the attack time. It gives you an internal mixture of also using this sound, okay? It's the attack. I'm not going to go over what it's really doing. Just know, use your ears, guys. Don't use your eyes, use your ears. All right, so then you have the P time and the pulse width. That just changes the frequency of the pulse. Let's say if you're using sine or anything, basically changes the frequency, okay? Not going to get into that, in the mechanics behind that. But here's the different sounds. If you hear too much of a whiny sound, just kind of mix it in with this attack.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with that hypnotic. Feels so erotic, can't get enough of.
Your P time will cause you to go into the sound of the sine or the saw a little sooner, okay? It's in the manual, tells you what everything does. Like I said, use your ears, guys. The mono, you can, like I said, but check this out.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with that hypnotic.
Nothing's happening. You know why? Can you guys figure out why nothing's happening? Come on, tell me. I am a dummy. Because that's oscillator 1. What this is this is the octave up and octave down. Now watch. Since we're in oscillator 2, you need to mess with this one.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these.
They're just up in harmony, down in harmony, down an octave, or down 2 octaves, or up 1 octave and up 2 octaves, as you can see.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these.
So that's what the OCT means. So you can mess around with that. Now, what does that do? Why would you want to use that? Well, because look, we're in oscillator 2. We're messing around over here. Well, guess what? You can mix the sound of this whole entire section over here, which we're going to go over, by going like this.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic.
Dude, trust me, you can go ham and just go crazy. There's so much with all these different mixtures that you can create, sonic textures, and then you can create your own sound fonts. It's just, you can go crazy with this thing. So we've already seen this section, oscillator 2. We know what kind of sounds it makes.
Feels so erotic.
Okay, so this is oscillator 2 over here.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic.
Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to concern ourselves now with oscillator 1. That's this whole section over here. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, you can do a mix between the two. So I could take this whole sound that's over here.
Feels so erotic, can't get enough of these glasses with.
I could take this sound and mix it in with the sound that we're going to get over here, but we're going to go check out the sound that's over here. So here we go. We are all the way to oscillator 1. Let's check this out. So we're in oscillator 1, and we can actually change between these two sounds here. So check it out. This plugin is just crazy because you can mix between the two oscillator sounds for the sine wave type sound and also whatever sound you mix over here, but you can further mix and tailor the sound over here with this mix knob. Watch this. I'm going to go all the way to oscillator 1. Forget oscillator 2 for now.
Feels so erotic.
On the left, we have the drop it sound.
Feels.
Okay, my God. Okay, that's the sound that's over here. And then over here, if I go this way, this is all inside oscillator 1, we got these sounds, okay?
Feels.
This is the synth, this is the sound font, and that's what SF2 stands for. And I'm going to go through the synth sounds, okay? So right now I'm going to switch this to monitor so you can hear it. You're hearing the keyboard going because of the MIDI notes, and you hear the sound that's here. So I got it all the way turned to the synth. Wow, that's totally freaking annoying. It has reverb on it because I have reverb on the track. I'm going to stick to, right now, this one here. You guys get the idea. On this side, you have some sound fonts, and you can change those. You can add them on your own. You can load them, as you see here. I'm just going to stick to the one that it's on, which is My God. So I can mix that sound with this sound. Let's do that. Well, you're like, well, where the fuck did the vocals go? Well, that's because I have it in monitor.
Feels so erotic.
Now this is only using this side.
Feels so erotic. Can't get.
I can mix this into the other one.
Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses.
So basically this one mixes this sound with this sound, and then within the oscillator one, you can mix between this sound and this sound.
Can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic. Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic. Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic. Feels so erotic. Can't get enough. Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with a hypnotic. Feels so.
In the manual, it tells you what this does. Actually, it's not doing nothing right now. I'm just fucking around, okay, guys? Sorry about that.
Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses with a hip.
So that's basically how this plugin works. You guys mess around with it. I just thought I wanted to explain that to you because some of you guys would probably take you forever to even understand what the hell is going on. So a quick recap. You have two oscillators, one on the left, one on the right. This oscillator's controlled by using all these parameters, and you can mix between the two to create the sound you're looking for. And then the oscillator on the left was this oscillator one is using a sound font and a synth sound, and it's mixing them together with this knob, and then you mix it all together. Then you can use this internal filtering and its internal attack and pulse width modulation time and all kinds of other stuff to create the effect. You can actually just take the setting you see here, mess around with it, and then you'll be good. And of course, do not forget about your wet dry knob, the all-important one that you can mix in more or less of the effect.
Feels so erotic. Can't get enough of these glasses.
Or you can go all the way wet.
Feels so erotic.
Depending on what you want to do, you could have like this vocal in the background while the main vocal's going if you're going to go 100% wet. You could do a dance track and just make some vocoder type shit go down. All right, mess with your panning because that does affect the sound. So that's pretty much it with that. So what I've showed you guys is how to use all these different kinds of vocoders. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. You know how to route them. Go out there, make some dope ass tracks. Just don't forget about me that I showed you how to use this. Alright, so if you feel that you learned something and if you think I deserve it, right below this video is a thumbs up. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. All my real people, because it's free shit. You learn some stuff. Give me a thumbs up if you think I deserve it. However, if you do not think I deserve it for God knows what reason, I mean, I'm a pretty cool guy, right? I would say so. However, if for some odd reason you don't think I did, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs down. Usually the people going to give me a thumbs down are the trolls that are running around, you know, doing their troll thing throughout YouTube. Guess what, guys? I don't care. I'm going to get up tomorrow. The only way I will not get up tomorrow is if like another apocalypse comes and I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to sleep in my bed. I'm going to wait till the bad shit goes by because I'm in a fucking dungeon and you can't touch a fucking ninja. Okay. So right here's a subscribe button. If you guys can just subscribe, I got all kinds of new shit coming in the future. Crazy shit. I'm expanding everything. So anyway, peace out.